Good morning.
Good morning. The video, the lecture is now being recorded, just so you know.
Okay.
All right, I'm going to be asking a very difficult question today.
Looking forward.
Let's admit all so that they might help us try to answer it.
Bonjour. Professor. العصر الحجري بالإنجليش Paleolithic هو؟
Paleolithic, yes.
Paleolithic, okay.
Paleolithic.
All right. Thank you.
Admit.
بس كمان les autres âges de pierre. عصر الحجري يعني âge de pierre.
Pardon?
L'âge de pierre ancien, puis le moyen, puis le récent, puis le néolithique.
Absolument.
Donc la terminaison lithique يعني حجر.
Paleolithic. في الباليو وفي النيو. في الميزو. باليو ميزو نيو.
What is the difference? What is the difference بين هول
نحن اللي بيهمنا هو الابر باليوليتيك الباليوليتيك سوبيريور والنيوليتيك. هذا الميزوليتيك بنحكي عنها شوي. الفرق بيناتهم هي بيسكلي الظهور بدايات الظهور تبع شيء اسمه الحضاره.
اوكي.
هنحكي عن الموضوع.
alright.
في بعد حدا؟ Okay, I think we can start. And مثل العادة إذا حدا حس إنه في حدا ما عم يقدر يفوت، لأنه أنا وقت بكون بحكي ما في ضلني ركز على إنه في حدا ناطر بالأوضة. اللي مأخر بس قولوا لي اعملوا معروف إنه في حدا بالويتنج روم. بس usually إنه بتضيع وقت، هيدي بتضيع لنا وقت، سو أحسن إنه كلنا نكون على الوقت. Okay, so كيفكم؟
Good.
Good. We're gonna try to do today is ask a very simple question, and the simplest questions are frequently the most difficult. And the question is, if human beings had never seen images, يعني في period بالتاريخ human beings had never seen images in it. مظبوط يا ملا؟ And what we call human beings had never seen images in it. How did they recognize the first image? اعتبروا يا اخي انه في او extraterrestrials نزلوا لهم اول image, and that's complete nonsense. عم نحكي بمزح. كيف عرفوا؟ كيف قدروا يقروها؟
انه عندنا other senses غير النظر، يعني they can sense it يمكن.
اوكي. بس انت بس عم تطلع بايمج ما عم تطلع بنفس طبيعه الانفورميشن عن النظر. يعني انت عم تعملي شيء زياده. عم تعملي interpretation two-dimensional surface, b-dimensional surface. You're turning it in your head into a three-dimensional surface. وهذا شيء that's exceptional. In fact, الانثروبولوجيست بس عندي شكوك بهذه القصه على فوق. الانثروبولوجيست بيحكوا عن travelers going through to the Ottoman Empire, Asia Minor, and they went to a village. And in that village, nobody, because of religious restrictions, nobody had seen images before.
انه ما فهمت، يعني ما بيقشعوا انه الايمجز
ما حدا شايف image before، لانه بالحضاره hold on. بالحضاره تبعهم بالculture تبعهم images were prohibited، ممنوع. So for a very long time this culture had not seen images. There might be other reasons for it لأنه بنعرف نحن أنه the Ottoman Empire produced beautiful images. But there might be other reasons for it. Among them, you know that this was a poor village. So the production of image, which is inexpensive, was simply not something that was seen there. According to the story, وجربت لاقي لها verification ما تأكدت ما قدرت أكدها. But I've seen reputable anthropologists use it. According to the story, فرجوا الصورة لشخص photograph ما قدر يقريها. ليه؟ لأنه according to the story or according to interpretation of this story, this person had not culturally learned to read images. ما تعلم يقرأ images. But if that was the case, and even if that was not a true story, كيف أول شخص شاف صورة قدر يقريها؟
Exactly.
That's one of the great mysteries of anthropology, of the emergence of images. Well, it might be that we have some elements of answers to that. Might be that we have, in fact, answers to that.
دكتور بس في حدا بده يفوت فيك تفوتون في كذا حدا.
Oh,
Dr. Ralph,
yes.
بهيدا بأي عصر كان هيدا لما كان في images؟
بهيدي البيريد بهيدي المنطقة بالأوتومان امباير.
Ottoman Empire, okay.
19th century.
Right.
And again, I'm جربت لاقي لها verification لهيدي القصة because I found it hard to believe.
I have a question, but
Yeah.
sorry عم قطع كتير بس عن جد it's a very interesting topic الآن.
Go ahead.
إذا أنا مثلاً بروح على culture ما شايفين image بحياتهم. alright. ما أنا عم صور شيء من هاي الكالتشر، يعني أكيد شايفين هيدا الشيء من قبل هن. يعني let's say أنا صورت
photograph.
yes photograph بس لشيء هن already شايفينه قبل يمكن.
ما بيأثر إذا شايفينه قبل يما لا.
قصدك إنه كفوتوغراف مش شايفين قبل كشكل فوتوغراف.
شكل photograph. And I think عم جرب أتذكر هلا إذا I'm reading if it was an image or a photograph of that Ottoman peasant. جرب أتذكر إذا رسمي يما photograph. I'll check it out again. Okay.
Right.
Again, I tried to find verification for it. I couldn't. ما لقيت verification لهالقصة. Somebody might be able to find it يمكن بكبسة زر مثل ما بيصير عادة بالريسيرش. بيجي حدا بيكون عامل ريسيرش 20 ساعة ما لقى شغلة، بيجي حدا بيلاقيها بثانية. We'll see. We'll see. I'll check whether it was a photograph or an image. Yeah. So ما بيأثر إذا المهم هو transfer ability to read the image, whether the image is of something familiar or non-familiar. That doesn't really matter. That's not the question here.
Okay.
Well, the question is, what is the first artwork? What is the first image? I'm going to show you something, and I want you to very honestly, بلا مش ضروري نكون very simply, tell me what it is.
بس فيني أقول شيء؟
Yes.
في نحن كذا حدا ما عم نفهم عليك بس تحكي إنجليش.
أوكي شو بدك يعني أعمل؟
فيك تصير تحكي عربي؟
ليه ما عم تفهم علي English?
لأن
Did you study English? Because كل الريفرنسز تبعنا هن English.
بس أكيد ما حنفهم كل شيء لأن نحن فرنسي.
Bon, je pourrais parler en français alors si vous voulez.
Ok.
D'accord? Je vais essayer de traduire pendant que vous parlez, pendant que je parle. Ok? bon. السؤال هو التالي. حفرجيكم شغله وبدي اياكم تقولوا لي شو شايفين. خلينا نشوف وين هذا مسيو شير. اوكي. alright. شايفينه؟ Are you able to see it?
Yes.
شو شايفين؟
دكتور وجه إنسان.
مش هيدي تبع الراك اللي اعطاها مونكي او شيء راح مسافر.
هيدي كنت انت معي بشي كورس قبل؟
بس جيت مرة هديك السنة وما جيت.
اوكي طيب. دينا خليهم يعملوا الاكزرسيس.
اوكي.
Okay. So what is this? The very simple answer.
وجه إنسان دكتور أو
ايه وجه انسان.
شبيه لوجه إنسان.
This seems to be the image of a human face.
Yeah.
And I'm going to show you something. شايفين هيدا؟
Yeah.
This is Australopithecus africanus. About 3 million years ago, one of our ancestors, هذا واحد من جدودنا, found this rock. كيف نعرف انه he found it؟ هيدول rocks is a form of agate, يعني نوع agate, نوع حجر. ما في منه مطرح ما لاقوه البشر، مطرح ما لاقوه الاركيولوجيست، مطرح ما لاقوه الباحثين، لاقوه بكهف. بهذا الكهف في bones of Australopithecus africanus، في عظام. بنعرف انه كانوا عايشين هنيك بهذا البيريود، وبنعرف انه هذا الحجره بنفس الوقت انحطت هنيك عن هذا البيريود. ليه عم نقول انحطت؟ في حدا one of Australopithecus africanus حملها من 5 ل 4 ل 5 كيلومتر وجابها معه على الكهف تبعه. ليه انتم تحملوا حجره 4 5 كيلومتر تحطيكم بايدكم؟ ما عندكم جياب بعد، مش انه فيكم تحطوها بكيس وتنسوها، ما عندكم لا جياب ولا كيس، ماسكينها بايدكم. هالقد عطينا اهميه. ومشيتوا فيها كم كيلومتر؟ 5 كيلومتر. 5 كيلومتر بالحرش تاخذ اكثر بكثير من 5 كيلومتر على الطريق، على التروتوار. طيب ليه عملنا؟
هيدي الاي دي تاعيته يعني؟ هيدي الاي دي تاعيته؟ احسن.
لأن شايفها بتشبهه.
لأنه شايفها بتشبهه. فهمتوا؟ هيدا is not the real face of a Australopithecus. But this Australopithecus africanus was able to see in an element of nature something that resembles him. شايف فيها something بيشبهه.
دكتور يعني هي هيك، مش انه الانسان عاملها، هي موجوده.
عاملها هيدي. It's natural.
هي.
There are, and this is an ability that
حدا عملها اوكي بالضبط.
We have the same ability. نحن هلا تطلع بالغيوم، صايره معكم شي مره؟
We see human face.
اليوم بتصيروا تقولوا ليك هذا راس، هذا وجه اسد.
Yes.
او هيدا، او تطلعوا ببقحه على الحيط بتبلشوا تشوفوا قصص صور فيها. Has it happened to you?
Yes, بالغيوم. Yes.
This is the same ability that this Australopithecus africanus has.
Sir, من كم سنة كانوا موجودين هول؟
هول 3 ملايين لمليون. هيدي البيبل 3 ملايين ل 2.6 million years ago.
Wow.
So what is it that we see then? What is it that we see? Well, this Australopithecus africanus saw something بيشبهه, and he was completely amazed by it, so amazed by it that he carried it for 5 kilometers. حملها بإيده وأخذها على بيته, على الكهف تبعه. That's remarkable.
Yes.
It tells us, in fact, that they had elements of thinking that resembles our own elements of thinking. نحن ورثانين منه هيدي الابيليتي.
interpretation.
اشياء. and
زيت الانتربريتيشن. عم قول زيت الانتربريتيشن للاشياء انه نحن وياه.
Absolutely. طيب why would we need this؟ شو الهدف منها هيدي؟ You know, nature doesn't tend not to leave too many things that are useless. Useless things take energy, and energy is always limited in nature. Our available energy, as a human body, limited energies. So we don't have time. We don't have energy to waste on useless abilities such as this. In fact, it's not useless at all. This ability. Why is it? Important? Well, imagine you're walking in a forest and you saw a pattern. شفتوا شكل. هيدا الشكل ذكركم بشو؟ بأسد. So فكرتوا انتو شو؟ انه في أسد. That there is a lion hunting you. What did you do? شو بتعملوا؟ You run, or you avoid the region, or etc. etc. Supposing this is a false positive, that you are wrong, that this isn't a lion, this is simply some stones that look like a lion. Will something happen to you? بيصير لكم شيء؟
No.
ماكسيموم بيضحكوا عليكم اصحابكم. انه شو بك بعت لنا منه شيء هذا حجار etc. etc. That's it. Now, and this would be what we call a false positive. Positively انه في lion there. It's a false positive. But think of it as a false negative. You look at the shape and you don't recognize a lion. And it actually turns out to be a lion. شو بيصير؟ You don't have the ability to recognize shapes, to associate shapes with things in your mind, in your mental encyclopedia. ما عندكم اياها هيدي الابيلتي. ما فيكم ما عندكم الابيلتي تطلعوا بالغيمه وتقولوا ايه ليك هذا راس اسد. او تطلعوا بالحجار وتقولوا ليك هول بيشبهوا اسد. قصدي؟ طلعتوا بهيدي المنطقه هونيك وما شفتوا انه في شيء بيشبه اسد وطلع انه في اسد. شو بيصير فيكم؟
بياكلنا الاسد.
بياكلكم الاسد. قصدي؟ شو بتعمل لكم هيدي الابيلتي؟ شو بتفيدكم هيدي الابيلتي؟ انه تشوفوا هيك تطلعوا بالنيتشر and recognize things in your mental encyclopedia.
Prediction شو لازم نعمل action.
And having this, 100 false positive is less dangerous than one single false negative. يعني غلطوا 100 مرة انه شفتوا اسد وطلع غلط. اوكي ماكسيموم انه خلص بقى زهقنا بيضحكوا عليكم شوي زيادة. غلطتوا مرة واحدة طلعتوا وما شفتوا الاسد شو بيصير؟ بتصيروا لانش.
دكتور بليز في تلميذة بدها تفوت.
Sorry, yeah, thanks. You turn into participants, admit. You know, شفتوا شو ثقيلة هيدي الفوتة الأخرى؟ How it interrupts us. So please be on time. Okay. So should we see nothing if it's false negative, false positive, and you can die if it's false negative. So disability, in fact, is extremely important for humans. It's one of the elements that allows us to survive. Good. Well, it turns out that the Neanderthals also had, our cousins, our closest cousins, also had this ability. This gentleman that you see here is a Neanderthal. Who are the Neanderthals? We talked about them frequently last time. I should have perhaps more clearly indicated who they are. Probably appearing about 400,000 years in Europe. And they spread from there to regions such as the Middle East and to regions such as China, up to the limits of, up to the limits of China. And about 30,000 years ago, for reasons that are a matter of great controversy, they disappeared. We don't know why they disappeared. But one of the possible reasons is that humans brought them disease, okay, possible. That they had engaged in warfare with humans for 100,000 years and lost, command possible. That environmental changes contributed, along with disease and along with the competition along with humans, hunting competition, contributed to their disappearance. All of these are possible hypotheses as to why Neanderthal disappeared. But they are
not humans? They are not humans?
I'll show you, they are human, but I'll show you the difference between us and them. شايفة هيدي الصغير؟
Yeah.
هيدا نحن. شايفة هيدا؟
Yeah.
هيدا هني.
Oh, okay.
They are in fact our cousins. They're hominids like us, but they are different species of humans.
Okay.
بس الصورة اللي شفناها هي أصلاً السكeleton اللي شافوه يعني. How do they know that's how they look?
There's a method of scientific reconstruction. So you take a skull and فيها element of judgment فيها. But you take a skull, okay, you say هون على الفرونت تبعكم the thickness of the skin, of the muscle and the skin is maybe, I don't know, 2-3 millimeters. So you place a little dot here and you add 2-3 millimeters. On it's more. So this here, for instance, is 5 millimeters. This here, depending on how fat you are, this here is more. So you're able, and you use, of course, anatomy in order to reconstruct the muscles.
Sir, it's called radiocarbon. Is it called it's called radiocarbon dating?
No, this is not based on radiocarbon dating. But yes, they do use radiocarbon dating as a means of determining when they disappear.
Yes. Okay.
بس شكله كان أكبر منه.
أكبر منه his head, but they were shorter and much stockier than we were. They were, in fact, possibly 3 times stronger than we were, physically. So imagine, a very stocky, very, very, very strong human. And this is the human that disappeared. Tells you that physical strength, if it's a matter of competition with us, physical strength is not everything. The idea is that our culture was possibly far more complex than theirs. Because our culture was far more complex than theirs, we were able to coordinate our actions much more efficiently. That's my thesis. I might be wrong. We were able to cooperate our actions much more efficiently, leading to our ability to outcompete them for very limited resources within the environment that we were coexisting. But this is هيدي شايفينها هاي؟ I'm going to show you my error about the scientific method and how the scientific method, I kept it on purpose, how the scientific method is in fact a constant process of self-correction. This is 65,000 years old in Spain, in the region that today we call Spain. And it is, if the dating is correct, and it's based on a form of dating that's not frequently used, very recently used, uranium-thorium dating method. It's very old, but it's not used very much in anthropology. And if this is wrong, if this is right, this is art. هيدول الأحمر اللي شايفينه هون. This is art made by Neanderthals. If this is correct, and this is less than a year old, this discovery, a year, maybe a year old. If this is correct, this is a revolutionary discovery. And I'll show you something. This is a reconstruction of this. Well, if you look here, what do you see?
Cow.
A bison, a cow, an animal. Clearly an animal. If you look here, what do you see?
An animal as well.
An animal as well. This is a less defined form, and this also is a geometric form, and these are absolutely fascinating. This dotting here, and it has the characteristics that I showed you in the cave Blombos. Geometry, gestalt, and the ability to represent naturalistically. And I'm going to show you that my error that I kept. Not that it's a scientific error that every anthropologist had made before this event, every art historian made before this discovery. If it's true, let me show you. This is what I said before. Les premières formes d'art naturaliste, the first forms of naturalistic art. And I dated them to about 35,000 years ago. If this new discovery is correct, this, what you read here, is wrong. That it was not us, Homo sapiens, that created the first forms of naturalistic art, representational art. It was the Neanderthals.
If it's a correct theory, right?
It is, sorry?
If it is a correct theory about the
Neanderthal, possibly.
Yeah.
It's a great element of controversy now about the use of the dating system, dating mechanism, dating method.
دكتور
Yeah.
مش معقول يكون في période intermédiaire entre le pur néandertal et le pur homo sapiens sapiens, c'est-à-dire une période de croisement.
Et c'est pas aussi intermédiaire que ça. C'est que il y a eu une cohabitation entre nous. There were about 4% of our genome is Neanderthal. So there was a sexual relationship between humans and Neanderthals.
Oui, مش معقول يكونوا دابوا يعني avec la population humaine récente.
No, I don't think so. Debo, it's a hypothesis. It's a possible hypothesis, but I don't believe it. The last Neanderthals we see are in Spain, in the region of Spain, and what we see is at the same time that the humans are approaching, there is a disappearance of the Neanderthals. So again, it's a question of fragmentary evidence. But as human approaches, the Neanderthals are disappearing, and then you reach Spain about 30,000 years ago, the last Neanderthal.
Ok, donc il y a eu une génération ou bien des générations d'enfants ou d'humains issus de Néandertal et de Homo sapiens sapiens.
On est tous les humains.
Nous le sommes, oui, parce que nous, on est dans le temps, les premières générations, في indication.
J'ai pas lu les études scientifiques là-dessus. Hein.
Oui.
Mais il me semble que les relations sexuelles qui ont produit les hybrides néandertaliens humains ont produit des humains qui ont de la difficulté à se reproduire. Qui avaient de la difficulté à se reproduire.
Pourtant,
nous souvent chez les animaux qui sont d'espèces différentes. Hein?
Oui, ils sont stériles d'habitude. Mais nous avons des DNA de Néandertal.
Pardon?
Nous, les humains actuels, nous avons des DNA de Néandertal, donc nous sommes les descendants, quoi.
Nous sommes partiellement les descendants des Néandertaliens, oui. C'est 4% de nos matières génétiques qui font partie des... Ça, c'est les dernières études.
Interesting. OK.
Alors, this, in effect, if this is true, we have to revise. I'm going to keep this to show you, in effect, how science is constantly correcting itself. La science se corrige tout le temps. Et c'est pour ça que tous les Dunning-Kruger, les génies de Dunning-Kruger, qui se croient, qui savent, ils te disent « Ah, mais il y a un mois, on disait qu'on devait porter des gants pour Covid. Et maintenant, on dit que c'est mieux de se laver les mains, etc. » Mais oui, la science reconnaît ses limites et de manière très humble, elle est constamment en train de se corriger. Sorry.
وأنا كمان.
سوري بس بروفيسور ما بعرف مين قال لك تحكي فرنسي بس بليز ما تحكي فرنسي. No, you actually everyone was understanding in English. I'm sorry.
Who are you? I'm sorry. What's your name?
It's Abed.
Huh? Okay.
It's Abed.
إنه أنتم
فاهمين عليك. Please don't talk in French.
بالكل اللغات. Okay.
Yeah. Right.
I mean, well,
what I said is that science is a self-correcting process. This is why the people who are screaming about scientists and doctors a few months ago saying that we should wear gloves and now that we shouldn't wear gloves, that we shouldn't wear masks and now that we should wear masks. I'm talking about COVID. Well, yeah. They humbly admit that they are wrong based on evidence. Science is about that. It's about admitting that you might be wrong. And this is why, in fact, the first few months they were saying, okay, don't wear masks. Now they are saying, okay, wear masks. Because they learned more. They changed. And this is the same thing that we see here. It is, in effect, the self-correcting process of science. Okay? The idea is, in fact, that this is going to force us to re-examine ourselves about the origins. But there is something in the human behavior that it's obvious up till now, according to current, that we don't find in the Neanderthal. And that is the complexity of this of our artistic behavior. I'm going to show you something. What I'm going to show you is the caves, the Paleolithic cave, les grottes paléolithiques. I placed here, les caves paléolithiques, les grottes paléolithiques. The Paleolithic caves